Elevation Radio.
God bless you. This is Elevation Radio 1. I'm your host, Pastor Steve, the Music Man Turner, and we thank you for taking the journey with us. This is a program that spotlights positive people doing positive work while serving a positive God. His name is Jesus. And this program is brought to you today by God. Ain't nothing else. Listen, our subject matter today is blood on the streets. Blood on the streets. We're going to be talking about it and the new changes here. 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 37 says, God sent Elijah the prophet to speak to King Ahab and ask him this question: was it enough that you killed Naboth? Must you rob him also? The Bible says the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. As we listen to more horrific crimes on the streets of Baltimore, even the street codes of children, women, and the elderly used to be off limits. What has happened? Why are our streets so violent? Is there a war going on that we regular people are not aware of? Can the mayor and his one-step, two-toe police chief ever catch up before it's too late? Oh, my goodness. Let's move right into... And if you have an opinion, you can call in at 1-914-205-5353, 1-914-205-5353. And we definitely know this mayor and this state's attorney and this police chief of this here city need help and need it badly, or they need to be replaced quickly so we can save the city. Let's right into our verse to rehearse by the most beautiful part of this program. That's my lovely wife, the First Lady, Leora Queen Turner.
Amen.
Read it, please.
Seest thou how Ahab humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring the evil upon his house.
And so we probably should look at is that, and this is a fine example of leadership humbling himself, Ahab, who was not a good king, not a good leader. Okay, he wasn't. As we have a mayor who's not really good. But he got the word from the prophet by God, and over a crime he had committed, a murder that he is a part of. And his wife killed Naboth, as we talked about last week, in the vineyard because Ahab wanted it, and wasn't man enough to get it. So Jezebel, his wife, decided to scheme and set the man up and took the man's property. So God is talking about that. Wasn't it enough that you robbed the man? Did you have to kill him? And that's what's going on in the streets today. Every day we look at it seems like every hour there are more and more shootings, more non-fatal shootings, more robberies, more ATM bank, more government waste, more government thievery and embezzlement, misappropriation. And so, I'm just wondering if the criminals are emboldened to do what they are doing today. Is it because they look at our leadership and see that the city government, under the auspices of the city council, who give themselves pay raises? Can you imagine giving yourself a pay raise? Oh, my God. Working with developers and just giving away the city, pocketing some kickbacks and some envelopes. They say, well, my God, they're criminals. So, this is how it goes. They get it. That's the role model. So now the hoods, the hot boys, the guys on the corner, just saying this is the way it is. So I better get mine. They're getting theirs. Oh, my God. Preachers are getting theirs. Preachers are partnering with the government to get theirs. So I might as well get mine. 914-205-5353. Before I go into some of these, I had a guest here, but I guess he got feet. I don't know, but we will press on. Before I go into these data, the information that I'm looking at here, let me ask my wife, the Queen, what do you think about the stories of the incidences of shootings here in this city of Baltimore?
I mean, there's a lot to be said on that. But to voice my opinion, I think it's out of hand. I think nothing is being done about it. You know, a lot is being said that can be done, but nothing is being done. And I really think that somebody should step up to the plate and do something about this, because this is way out of control.
Okay. And the person, okay. Now, we don't expect the mayor to put the whole city on his back and to carry it all. That's why you have city council and some other and other agencies. But it appears that no one knows anything about it, especially the leadership that is getting paid. We're paying you to actually, with our tax money, to make these kind of decisions and to implement some plans. Well, hold on a second. I think Elevation Radio 1, how can we help you?
Yes, how you doing? This is Baron Scott calling in. Scotty.
That's my guest right there, Scotty the Barber.
Oh, amen. Praise God.
All righty.
All right.
How you feel, sir?
Right.
How you doing today?
We're doing fine, sir. My wife's fine, too, the Queen. She's on the line.
How are you?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing okay?
All right.
That's right. We're going to actually ask you some questions, sir, because our topic is blood on the streets, and it's an inside perspective with Scotty the Barber.
Yeah.
And so we will indulge the philosophy and intellectual guidance from a humble public servant. That's what you are, Scotty the Barber. You're a public servant with experience. Yeah. Scotty the Barber.
Yeah.
So who is Scotty the Barber? Who is he?
I'm 46 years old. I grew up in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. You know. My grandma raised me, basically, my father. My mom was in my life, but for the most part, you know. I grew up in Baltimore City, you know. I have a backstory, you know. I indulged in streets for many years of my life. I decided to change my life around, and when you're on the outside looking back in, you can really see the change in yourself, but you also can see the trauma that it caused to yourself and being involved in the streets for so long. So it's a gift and a curse in a certain way, because it teaches you skills of survival and teaches you what to see. You can get the angles on things that most people wouldn't be able to get on. But for the most part, Baltimore is a beautiful place, but it can be a tough place too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let me ask you a question so we qualify you, sir. When I know you're changed today, but when you have experience in the streets, what did you used to do on the streets?
I mean, I sold drugs. I sold heroin. I sold crack cocaine. I do all of those things, you know. That's why I indulge in those things. You know, you got to realize, you know, coming up young, you know, money is a strong influence, especially on a young person. And I don't care what your parents may give you, but a lot of times it's the lack of certain things, but it's also influence. You know, your association, the people you're around, and if 10 of y'all together, they hang out and 2 of y'all begin to make money, and you see how easy it is to make money, then you become part of it. And so that's the thing. So a lot of times they focus on the addicts in the streets, but they don't really realize that the most strong addiction is to the dealer. The person is benefiting from it.
Were you a very successful dealer? I mean, how much money were you making?
I mean, at some points, as very young life, I mean, hundreds of thousands through the years. Yes. You know, it's hundreds of thousands through the years. It can happen. You know, the right place, the right thing, it happens. That's what happens. It's easy. It was so easy to do, but years ago, it was so easy to do.
And so, would you say that the many murders and shootings that are going on today, what is that from?
I mean, I could really say the lack of poverty. It's the lack of leadership. It's the lack of most young black people in our community who don't have nothing, and the education system. And me personally, I feel like the education system is a fluke to a certain point, especially when it comes to minorities. I mean, I feel like you go to school and they teach you, that you need to do this, but I've never understood what was American history for. Where was that going to benefit you in your life for you to move forward and go ahead? I don't need to know what Christopher Columbus did to come to America. But what I really think needs to be taught is you need to be taught how to learn, read, write, count, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I really feel like you need to learn reading comprehension. You should be taught speech. You should learn how to talk well. But the most thing, I think, economics needs to be back in school. They need more economic classes in schools than anything. Trades need to be brought upon out for people. But they don't want that. They don't want that for people, minorities, and people that's in poverty, because what happens is it empowers you to become your own boss. And entrepreneurship is not taught in schools because they want you to be a worker. So that's just what I feel like. I feel like when they look at it, it's a lack of, and especially in ghettos. And I don't believe the word ghetto is a state of mind. But the system built ghettos, and they leave us in the ghettos, and they cause people of minority and people of color to become content. They use programs in our community. A young woman could be receiving assistance for 4 kids right now. She can get a welfare check. She can get food stamps. They'll give her Section 8. But tomorrow, if she go get a job making $1 or $2 over minimum wage, or just making minimum wage, she loses all those benefits to help her get ahead because they say now she's working a job. But they'll continue to fund the person, the mom or the dad, that's not working anywhere and trying to get above the poverty level. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say it systematically holds us back. And I feel like a lot of times they complain about the kids and the mothers, but a lot of mothers, black women, are some of the most strongest, but some of the most troubled women, and especially in the United States, in the world. Because a lot of these mothers, yes, they got to go to school. Yes, they got to go to work, and the kids got to go to school. But you know what I mean? These mothers working double jobs or got to work an evening job. So even though when the kid get out of school, she has to go to work. So the kid is left on their own. Because the mother can't afford to be home. She got to put in extra hours to take care of these children. So the children is left to do, and the influence is gone. It's hard.
You're absolutely correct, Scotty. And also it's the breakdown of the family, where some men have not lived up to what they have created, and then sometimes the man wants to do it, and sometimes the woman is just told to deal with it, so it just takes a break, takes a hiatus. 1 second, I got a call here. Elevation Radio 1, how can we help you?
Hey, what's going on, man? Salute to that brother out there making it happen. Salute to you and holding down his radio platform. My name is Pastor Don Jr., CEO. I've been on over 1,000 radio shows, but y'all made me stop because you're right. You got to look at what we're doing in the community. My son should be on the phone at 850, but I'm texting hundreds of people come to this radio broadcast so they can hear what y'all dropping.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. God bless you. All right now.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Yeah. So that systems is important. Systems were developed by white folks. Can I say that?
Yeah.
And get in trouble. Europeans designed to hold. Now they don't want systems of government that they had over in Britain, England, so they came over here, and then now they want to enslave and have enslaved blacks, Chinese, Indian, basically everybody else that they are scared of and have more talent than they do, and that's really insecure. That's pathetic. Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How do you feel about that, Scotty?
I feel as though that it's absolutely right, but I really feel what I really understand, and what I become to realize in life is that money drives the culture. No matter what it is, money wins. At the end of the day, money wins. And if you can't blame it, because when you start out with nothing and someone gives you something, or you see something working out and it's paying off, it's hard to let it go. It's hard to turn from something that's helping you survive. It's hard to turn away from. So the same way they came and they set up their system, like we were born here, but at the end of the day, when we got here, it's hard because like the system is embedded. It's programmed. It's like downloading a virus into a computer. And you can get all the virus protection that you want, but every time you open that search engine looking for that one thing, they can reach us. So for us, it's almost like we're virus driven, and it's hard, especially when you only make up about 13% of the population of where you live. For black folks, that's a hard thing to overcome. It's hard. It's just.
Well, since you're talking about this. I went on the Baltimore City Police Department's citywide incident report .org, okay, bcp.org, and the homicides it says here are up. Well, they have it here negative 14%, which I don't believe. At 21 right now. Somebody's being shot right even as I speak. Fatal shootings were 681. 681 people have been shot. Just didn't die. Thank God. But they've omitted some other things which they haven't talked about. Forcible rapes are at 267. Second-degree rapes are at 282. Carjackings are up 400%. I mean, are the police asleep? I mean, taking a vacation?
No.
Oh, that's right. They're down. They don't have that many people.
Yeah.
Forgot. Convenience store robberies are 800%. 800%. Wow. And if we go into Southeast District, homicides are up 200%. Got to stay out of Southeast. Western District is at 150%. Wow. What do you think about that, Scotty?
I feel like that, it's the times that we living in, and it's not surprising to me, it's not surprising, the things that take place in our city is not just driven by people just doing them just because, we have drug addiction. The drug addiction is the number one thing that's being dealt with in black communities all across the nation. Drug addiction is something strong, and especially in youth. Drug addiction is strong in youth, and they can't be blamed for that because when you think back when I think back about 7-8 years ago, again, the system, 7-8 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when you went to the hospital for something, an illness or something, the first thing the hospital offered you was oxycodone. It was kind of funny to me that every time you went to the hospital, they were offering you pain medication, a narcotic pain medication. So what happened was when the heroin trades load up, what they needed a new way. They needed a new way to support their system. And the new way to support their system was they pushed pills into our community, on our young people. You did not see this many young people. You did not see this many young people on hard drugs years ago. It was unheard of. But now it's everybody overnight. And know how it happened? From doctors pushing pills. Big Pharma needed a way to push it, and that's how they did it.
Big Pharma. Let's see here. Crack cocaine came in from the CIA, and then they found a better way to do it. They modified, they improved their techniques, and then we got the white
legally through
doctors, who are the biggest drug deal. I mean, every time I think about it, every time I go to the doctor, I have multiple doctors, but every time I go, you need some pills. When you write your prescription, I didn't ask you for that, ma'am.
But that's what they write you. Yeah, Yeah, what is it? Oxycodone, Percocet. What is it? Hydrocodone. What is that? But they know it's addictive. They know it's highly addictive. They know what it is, and that's the way to get it done.
I thought I heard a sound of a clipper.
Hey, you hear that?
So you
hear it?
Hold on a second. This is the authenticity of a professional. You're a public servant. You're actually on the line educating us here on Elevation Radio 1, and still treating your clients by cutting hair and the same. That's what I'm talking about. What do you think about that, Queen?
Still working.
That's all right.
It gotta happen. It's
multi.
But one thing I can say about the youth in Baltimore, it's rough, and as rough as they try to make them sing, believe me, people don't take the time to look at our youth in the city, and they see the guys out in the corner, and they see the guys hanging in the gas station, but they're not all bad. And of course, some of them may be participating in illegal activities, but that's the way they know how to survive, because they're not being given a fair chance in other ways. And when people look at them, they look at them different, and they look down upon them. And sometimes when you look down on a person, they react with the energy that you give off to them, that you expect them to be, they give that back to you. Energy is very important. Your aura is very important. Spirit is very important. So sometimes when them young guys out there, how about speaking to them? Because I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, Miss Wanda that walks by, if they see something happening to her, them young guys will jump out there for Miss Wanda just because. Yeah. Sometimes they need a hello. Sometimes they need a hello. Sometimes they need a smile from you. How y'all young brothers doing today? How y'all feeling today? You know y'all okay? Everything good? Nobody asks them that, because everybody look at them and just look at them and say, oh, they just thugs. They just doing this and doing that.
Doing a Donald Trump, because that's what he thought. Thugs. Now, isn't it amazing that the Capitol coup, insurrection, Republicans looked at them and said, well, they were just taking a vacation. They were just walking through the Capitol on a tour. But they're the thugs. But we went to D.C. We had no problems. Was it the Man March? You had other Black Lives Matter. All that was in D.C. and problems. Amazing.
And that's and it was wild to see, but it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me at all that it happened. And honestly, I was kind of happy when it happened. I was kind of happy to see it happen, because it showed another side, but it also showed us exactly that we should know what we can and what we can't do. Sometimes when you know what you can and can't do, sometimes you just got to operate on a different scope and a different scale. Because I know what to expect. I know when I get pulled over in a car by the police officer, I know it ain't too much I can say or do. So the best thing I'm going to do is sit back, take my citation, that's it, and I'll move forward and move on. I'm not going to give no resistance. I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to put that in harm's way. I tell my children, when you get pulled over by a police officer, have nothing to say, give them your name, answer every question, do every command they tell you to do. They tell you step out the car, step out the car. If they want to search the car, let them search the car, because at the end of the day, I need you back home. And we can deal with the formalities of something that they did illegal later. But I don't need you to be trying to jump out there and defend yourself, to put yourself in a situation where you can lose your life behind something that can be dealt with later on. Sometimes you got to realize. You got to know when to stand and when to stand, and when to fold. Got to know when to hold and when to fold.
Now, speaking of brought the police up, let's just deal with that. We have a consent decree because police were abusing, especially minorities, in black neighborhoods. Okay. So now that's the beginning of what we're facing today. It was their fault for abusing, and robbing, and in some cases raping, doing all kinds of nonsense. Not all police, but there's just the bad apples, or what do you call them, bad apples. But also the system is racist itself, even the whole legal system, because lawyers make bills about your case in the judge's chamber without your consent and knowledge. And they come out and offer you what the state's attorney is offered to. And the public defender is only trying to become a state's attorney or work for the state's attorney's office to sell you down the river real fast. When you get this kind of inequity and inequality and police brutality for no reason, when you get George Floyd's and you see different persons getting victimized, perhaps this may be what happened to the police officer who was sitting in the car in Curtis Bay. Just the hatred.
Yeah. It's almost like, things happen, but when you look at it, when you look at the situations and things that take place, and especially in our city and with the system that we're dealing with, it's just hard. What is unfortunate, but it's just not happening here. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah,
it's happening everywhere. And the one thing that we have to realize, especially as black people, is that the odds are stacked against us, and we just got to keep striving and pushing forward. And I think the day that we realize that we stand strong together is the day when our problems change. The day when we realize we stand strong together is the day that our problems change. That's a true saying. United we stand, divided we fall, and that's just such a true statement. It's such a true statement, it's just like growing up in the 60s. Everybody wanted black folks. We didn't want integration. We didn't mind segregation. We just wanted equality. So that way, if I went in Howard County to go to the mall, I can go shop in every store, and if I wanted to go in your restaurant and sit down, I could. If I got on the bus, I could sit in the same seat as you. But we didn't want to live with you all because we were finding our own communities.
Mm-hmm.
But they needed integration because they needed us. Because when we stood together, when the boycotts took place, they needed us. They needed our dollars. Our dollars are important. Our dollars run this economy. We don't have credit like that. We are cash. We spend in cash. We spend in real time. What they call real time, we real time. We real time.
Mm.
Minorities work the service jobs, and without the service jobs, no industry could run. A hotel could not run without minorities cleaning them, doing the cooking. Jobs could, the systems of trash men, the trash would pile up all over the country and be pollution. Roadways wouldn't be clean without minorities doing those jobs. So that means and we are real time dollars. We are real time dollars. We're not a Grease. We're not a Discover. We're not an American Express. We are what you call cash in the bank.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, let me ask you this question. We built this country, that's for sure, and we should be getting some reparations. I don't want to get off on that, but everybody else getting some money, immigrant money. What about us? And so I'm just saying that we need to become more demonstrative in getting what we are owed. But getting to the topic here, blood on the streets. Is there a war going on that we don't know about? Is there a drug war?
Yeah. No. That's one of the biggest things that they talk about, a drug war. It's not a drug war. You know what the war is? The war is people trying to get out of poverty. That's the war. Fighting to find the next thing to eat. Fighting to find the next decent place to live. Fighting to have heat in your house. Fighting bills going up. Fighting to increase at BG&E. Fighting to increase at Comcast. Fighting to have your child go to a school in your own community. They don't have to travel all the way across town because they're closing the schools down. That's the war. That's the war that's going on.
Okay.
That's the war.
If I go for that, that's true. It's every day. Why 14 people across the city?
Huh?
What is it about? 14 people were shot, I think, yesterday across the city.
Things that just happen because, like I said before, we're living in poverty-stricken communities. And with poverty comes crime. In poverty comes lack of everything, resources. How about raise the wages for people to give people incentive to go to work? They gave out so much free money, right? For COVID, right? For virus. They gave out so much free money for COVID, right? For a virus, right? What about the virus that's stricken? What about the virus they created that left us in poverty and left us in shambles? What about that virus? Because I think that's way more serious than COVID.
Since you asked that question, let me offer it out. If the mayor, Brandon Baby Scott, is listening, or city council members, Nick Mosby, wake up, sir. Can you answer Scotty the Barber's question? Call in at 1-914-205-5353. Let me say it slower, because I know you got a lot of things on your mind. 1-914-205-5353, and answer the man's question, because it represents the entire city. Because a lot of when the mayor was talking disrespectfully to Jeff Daniels of Fox 45, a lot of folk had a lot of opinions about that. They didn't like that. They didn't like arrogancy, shutting the city down, taxpayers, hiding under COVID and doing business, where the people are supposed to be able to watch you and then have an opinion in City Hall, but you're doing business sneakily, hiding behind COVID. You're still doing business. That's illegal. So people say, hey, as I said earlier, Scotty, that if everybody who's a banger or who's on the streets, they watch TV too. They look at Facebook, they read newspapers. Okay, they say that the city is like illegal. Mayor and all of them get themselves pay raises, and city council, man, they getting theirs. So I'm gonna go get mine because I'm looking at you.
It's just funny to see just when they try to, every time they want to blame the people in the city, they want to blame the youth, they want to blame them guys. But you got to realize it ain't start with them. People want a better way of living. Can you imagine if they raised the minimum wage to $20? If they raised the minimum wage to $20, do you know how many people will go to work?
Slew.
But do you know how hard it is to survive for $10 an hour? If you do $10 an hour, that's $400 a week, right? That's $1,600 a month. Now let's do the average place there, because there's no rent control in the state of Maryland, so you can charge what you want. I mean, you can get a house today with painted floors, bed next to nothing. The house don't look that good, and it's one of the worst communities in the city. And a person will charge you $1,400 a month for $1,400 a month rent for a 3-bedroom house. Now, you're making.
Wait a minute, Scott. You know now what you're talking about. I was in trouble. You talking about Jews who come into the black neighborhood? Oh, I'm on it now, and give us dilapidated property and don't want to fix up nothing, but want all this this expensive stuff, and then want to throw you out and evict you because they're the ones always up in rent court.
Yeah, but the thing is, but what you got to think is, they're gonna go with the fair market value of rent said is. So how about the government instill $20 an hour minimum wage throughout the country? That's what you got to start at to get people to go to work. Because it's hard for me to go to work. It's hard for me to leave to go to work when I can go out here and make me $400 or $500 a day.
I got you.
It's
and
hard.
of course,
it's hard to let that go. I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting that go.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And you get the benefits of it. It's economic. Is I think I was watching Oprah Winfrey some time ago, years ago, where it was something like where someone asked why were drug dealers out doing what they do. He said because of the women, because they come right up on it. You know what I'm saying? When he's able to throw the cash around and the fancy car, He's looking good. He's got the fly clothes on. He's got, the latest and the greatest. So, boom, there they go. All up.
But the thing is this. It's the fact that now I'm able to survive. I'm able to live comfortably. I'm able to afford the things that I want to be able to afford, and I don't have that many issues. And whatever issues come along with that later on, I'm willing to deal with that. But at this point in time, I'm not hungry no longer. I don't have to go through these things because this is what I got to do. It's money. It's money. People, money. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to resist. It's hard. It's hard to resist. Look at the police officers. They went to prison. They went to jail. They didn't choose to do that. But when the money came into play and they seen how easy it was just to get it, they went and did it. They got it.
You're not talking about the police officer that was arrested on the parking lot of Northwest Police District for selling.
No. I'm just talking about the Gun Trade Task Force when they got locked. And when they started doing what they was doing, it was the money. Look, Catherine too. Even the mayor. She was able to make money, and when she started doing it, it was hard to do. She reported that she only made $30,000 when actually she made over $300,000. It's money. All this stuff is money driven.
It's the love of money too, also for some of them. Yeah.
People say, people say money.
She wasn't the first.
People say money ain't everything. No, money it's the only thing.
Oh, actually, that's a scripture. The money answers all things. It answers all things. So when the rent man comes, you got to have money.
Yeah.
Tell you. I know. I got to have money, Scotty, when my wife sees a dress in the store, and she asks me, "Honey, doesn't it look good on me?" I'm like, "Oh Lord." Yeah. That's
and as men, and as a man, most men, it gives you a sense of structure, a sense of strength when you're able to provide for your family. That's a good feeling.
Yes, sir.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling for a man to be able to provide for his family. When you put food on the table, when you feed your children, and you see them, and they full, and they happy, and they eat, you just sit back and look and say, "This is what makes me want to get up and do this all over again." So the guy that's out there on the corner ain't no different than the person that's going to work. The only thing is he's considered to be doing it illegal, and I'm considered to be doing it legally. But what should be illegal is to send a man to work for 12 hours a day and only pay him $10 an hour. But your salary for your company, your corporation is your corporation made $20 billion last year. And all you do is sit back and look and watch. But I sit back and my salary for last year was $26,000, and at the taxes I brought home about $14,000.
Wow. And here's another side. There are a lot of folks who are wearing suits and ties going to work, yet they also are stealing illegally by raising the prices. Car dealer charging you an arm and a leg, like the car I got, where they basically almost tried to go in my pockets with my permission, and lie about what the structure was for the car deal and all that, and then get you for the APR, and then there are legal ways of robbing you.
It is.
Yeah.
So you got to know certain things. That's why you got to do research. You got to do your research on things before you do them, and that's one of the things. That's one of the things that I learned. That's it. It was one breaking law. A friend of mine told me long ago. He said, to break the law, you need to know the law.
Oh yeah.
So they believe me, when they break the law, they know the law. I'm willing, you understand. They willing. I will embezzle. I would embezzle $50 million out of a company if I knew I would only go to jail for 6 years for it. Why wouldn't I? 6 years, $50 million.
You say,
you can get my cell a night.
You say, and you're gonna get half time for good behavior.
Yes. 6 years, $50 million. Thank you.
Well, hold on a second. He's going to get me in trouble. I'm not, let me do a disclaimer. I'm not, Pastor Turner. Turner is not endorsing any criminal activities on Elevation Radio 1.
At all. But it's just proven fact. We see it all day long. We see it happen. Mm-hmm. And the person be back out in a couple of years, and the firm will hire them for them to sniff and find out who else is doing it. That's how it goes. So it's all a revolving cycle. As
a consultant. Even the FBI does that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a second. Queen, I was going to ask her, have I gone too far? Because I got Scotty taking me over the edge. 1914 5353. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, but going back to it, the violence in the city. The violence in the city is just a product of the system. It has been broken for a long time, and they want to pass the buck on to the people when it's not the people. It's a system that was put in place hundreds of years ago. And until they want to change it and give us a little bit more, it's going to continue to happen. We need more as black people. We need more. We need more. Stop trying to figure out a way to stop it and give us more. Give us more.
Mm-hmm.
Give us more. That's what we need. Yeah. We need more.
So it sounds like a brewing revolution.
Yeah.
We'll get your attention one way or another.
I don't understand how it is. I can live in a community all my life, and I can go downtown. I can go to a bank and ask for a business loan, open up a store in my community on the street I live in. But then when I turn around, a few years later, it's an agent opening up a store in my neighborhood, and they just got here.
How? Oh, wait a minute. I'll tell you how. They have gotten money from the federal government. They can't even speak English.
I know.
They speak from Thai and all these other places. Matter of fact, the loan, as one person, it was a white business that told me that she was, and down Fells Point, because there were like 3 or 4 Thai restaurants in one block. She said they don't use all that money for what the government gave them. So if they gave them like say $150,000 or whatever, they'll take half, open the business, take the other half, go buy themselves a car and buy them a house.
Mm-hmm.
Family.
Yeah.
Because there's no oversight. If you,
and then they get.
If you don't turn that nickel in, for you, ready to put you in jail.
Yep. And then they would talk about PPP fraud. What y'all expected people to do? What you expected them to do?
Yeah.
What did you expect from it?
Well, this is very eye-opening. This is why we had you here. Tell it like it is. 1914-205-535. The lines are not just lighting up here, and asking questions. Real leadership, and that's my other problem. It's kind of. Someone made a comment that when the town hall was there initially before the election, Brandon Scott opened every town hall you could imagine, and so but now after his position, he's not anything. But his lack of, it must be an organized plan, because even on the press conferences, no one wants to answer any questions. They turn away no questions. The police commissioner, Alan Berger, don't want to answer no questions, and the mayor don't want to answer no questions. The city council not answering any questions at all. And then the delegation that went to Minneapolis, where the governor is putting crime bills and gun restriction laws there. They didn't want to answer any questions. They also didn't vote. So, if you can become active in cashing those checks. I say take all that money away. Yeah, payment on those checks, and I'm sure they will start talking.
Honestly, people need to just and I just said they just need not to vote any longer. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
People need not to vote. Let them figure it out.
I discovered, and doing some research here, that males in Baltimore make only $35,172 for their annual salary. The national average is $30,919, and females are actually below that at only $30,972. Well, actually, they are making more than the national average, $26,250. But the unemployment rate is at 7% in Baltimore. The national average is at 4.7. 4.7 national average. So we're almost twice as unemployed. The poverty level is at 23.1 in Baltimore. The national average is 15.1. And the tax rate is at 6%. Really, if you're below the poverty level, it should be no tax at all.
No, it shouldn't be. But they don't care.
And as see here, the life expectancy of a Baltimore resident is at 70.2. But others are at 73.5. And it says here 14 family black neighborhood. Basically, the lifestyle is lower than in more poverty than in North Korea. Babies, it says in Baltimore, are 9 times more likely to die by age 1. And here's the thing I discovered also, that if you move to Howard County, you'll be able to live longer, and the life expectancy there is 83 years as opposed to 70.2. The jurisdiction, just moving away from the location, is a life plus moment. So you've got to give it a solution and the problem and the solution to having to solving the murders and the crime spree and the ATM withdrawal and everything else that's going on. And so, with this kind of wisdom, Queen, okay, maybe we should vote for Scotty the Barber to be the mayor. I said, Scotty the Barber has given us more ideas, more solutions. He's put his finger on the pulse of the city and the streets, and he's solved the problem if we listen to it. And I think he should be mayor. He's doing the best kind of Brandon. Mr. No Show, no talk. Ain't got no attitude. Scotty's a man. See, when you need to be a man when you handling the offices and working for people and city. We don't need a boy. We need a man who can actually stow. See, because if I ask Scotty tough questions, he ain't gonna like, don't talk to me like that. You say that to me. Don't you have a reason? You gotta do that because he's a man. He's Scotty the Barber. Okay.
It's just the system. The system just needs to change, and it just needs to change in a dramatic way. I think people a lot of times, Mayor Scott, he just taking what his hand was given, and he's young. He's young. He's young. This is his first time at it, and I think he's just going at things a little. I think he's just trying to go at things a little differently.
That's different. Now, I respect her, but here's my opinion. I've said it on this program, and I'll say it again and again, as long as God has me here, is that he jumped too soon. He should have stayed in his spot as the city council president, learned what he was doing, okay, and learned the nuances of that, and then he could have moved up. That's because no problem moving up. But when you jump too soon, he's in over his head. He's well in it. Okay, Elevation Radio 1, I got a caller. How can we help you? Elevation Radio 1. Okay. Sometimes we have callers who just like to and learn. So it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. And so any new moves you're going to be doing, Scotty? Anything, any exclusive here on Elevation Radio something we could brag about?
You know, it's just, I think this year here, next year coming in, I'm gonna start like direct mentoring with youth. You know, going to the school, speaking to the youth. You know, just going there, speaking to them, because I think it's something that I should do. You know, a lot of people told me it's something that they think I should be doing. That I'm real good at it. That I'm open about it, and I'm honest. I'm honest about what it is that goes on, especially coming from me. You know, I'm a very outspoken person, and at the end of the day, I just really realized that, you know, I lost my son to the streets of Baltimore.
Okay.
You know, I lost my son 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I lost my son. You know, my only son. You know, I lost my only son. You know, I had my stepson. Thank God, he was put in my life, because that gave me two sons. But my one and only son, I lost him to the streets. And when you think about it, you know, I grew up. You know, when I grew up in a household with my grandma raised 8 of us in the household. 6 boys and 2 girls, and out of all the boys, all 5 of the boys were murdered.
Wow.
I'm the only one left out of all 5 boys, and none of them lived to see 30 years of age, and here it is, I'm 46 now. So I thank God that I was blessed, though.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's hard when you go through life, going through things and witnessing things I have witnessed. You know, I suffer from PTSD. A lot of young people in the city are traumatized, and we don't know how to recognize those traits. A lot of young people in Baltimore need counseling. We need therapists. We need to see a shrink, but that's something that we look down upon, because we look at it to be something that's shameful. But sometimes you need that person to speak to. You need someone to identify the triggers that cause you to have anxiety, those tantrums and those type of things. You know, mental health is something that black people suffer from, and they suffer from the system we have been put in.
Yep.
It's hard.
Yeah. It's so hard that I know one time I was trying to work with someone, a white lady out there in Bowie College, to do a concert with mental illness, and basically nobody showed up because they want to. And so even the church doesn't want to acknowledge, in most cases, just beginning to come around to it. But it's serious.
It's most definitely a serious issue. You know, and people, a lot of times when people hear PTSD, the first thing they think is someone being in the service or in the army, not realizing that PTSD is called post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
You know, it stems from trauma. You know, if you can lose 3 people, you can lose your mother, your father, and suffer from post traumatic stress.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now,
you
lose mic still open?
Oh, the mic is still open, Pastor.
Yeah. Are you guys sound like you guys are talking about Baltimore?
All day. Yes, sir.
You're talking about Baltimore?
Yes.
Okay. I was the director of Baltimore Child Development Community Policing Program, and the violence that was going on there in the city with the youth. I went to more funerals between 1996 and 1998, and I doubt. Well, the average age probably would have been 18. And the brother is right. PTSD in East Baltimore.
Appreciate you, baby. All right,
it was like
appreciate you.
It was like a war zone. East Baltimore was at that time. Yeah. And my church was up on Waverly, 33rd and Frisbee.
Lord have mercy.
So I take my hat off to you, young man. You talking about you gonna mentor people, and your mayor back at that time was terrible, O'Malley.
Oh yeah.
I mean, O'Malley's thing was to violate him and lock him up.
Yeah, that's right. I hate to say this.
He did not want.
No. Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I hate to say it.
As long as we're speaking the truth, you don't hate to say it.
Okay. He gave license. O'Malley is still an influencer in his town with Brandon. He's got he had to pay a political debt. He's got two of O'Malley's nephews in his cabinet telling him what to do, suggesting strongly.
Oh man!
So that's what we got. What we got?
Yeah, you said it right. You said it right the first time, telling him what to do. Yeah.
Oh, no, let me not forget Mary Pat Clark, because that's who raised him also. As I was told by another advocate, Stephanie Rollins. So he's been in the system. He's a product. He's the grandchild of the system. That's what we got. What we got.
Yeah, and Stephanie's mother was a member of the church, my last church there in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how that deal was cut. I know how that went down. Okay? And Stephanie's father,
Pete Rollins,
is one of the main reasons that O'Malley got in the office.
A little history on you. Yeah.
And that's a fact, because at that time, my brother, Bishop Miles, I mean, we worked. We did a survey. We did all of that stuff and found out what the issues were. And we went to the two brothers that was there at that time, and we tried to cut a deal with them that only one of them would run, and the other one would sit back and wait his turn and stay in the second position. And they just chopped up the black votes, and O'Malley walked in, and he told us pastors that it's going to be his way or the highway when it comes to youth in Baltimore City.
Wow. Yeah, that was the beginning of the end.
That's right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, there's so many, especially black men, being locked up for the what was it called? The no something zone. Where you couldn't stand on the corner for anything at all.
Oh yeah, right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so old now that I forgot what it was. And I was actually a police officer probably back in that time. Lord have mercy. Scotty, is he still there? Scotty?
I was hoping he was going to still be there.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. But back then it was called zero tolerance.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right. Zero tolerance.
It was called zero tolerance, and I mean, they arrested a lot of people for loiterings, failure to obey, obstruction, impeding the flow of the walk of the pedestrian on sidewalks. All those were tools they used to arrest you. They did tactics of picking you in an alley, searching your groin area, giving you all those things like that. Open containers, a high arrest for those things.
Stop and frisk, yeah. And we can thank O'Malley for that nonsense. And so when you have a person like that who is now, and he's also responsible for same sex in the city, in the state. Actually, that came from Glenn because he had a brother who had that. So this is all of these aspects have contributed to the downfall of where we are today.
Yep.
Even the discontinuation of the blue laws. You got to have one day when you stop trying to make money, and we lost that. Yeah. So on a Sunday, used to be no work.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
And back then, we used to go to Charles County. Charles County was the county that, because I was living in Washington back then, and everything was dry, but you could drive down to Charles County. It was wide open.
It's sort of like now we have legalized gambling, thanks to the governor, and some folks now don't go to Delaware and some other places. They stay right here. And that's a whole other program by itself. I don't want to get into that. Yeah. Whole other program. My God. So, listen, I can't have Scotty on this program anymore. Queen, sweetheart.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I can't have Scotty on this program anymore because he causes problems. He's tearing up stuff. Got me in trouble. He's gonna be looking at me. He said the program's too real. He can't have this kind of situation. I can't believe what he said. You want him to say it? Yes, I did. I'm going down to the man because Scotty's in that barbershop. Shout out to your barbershop, sir.
Yeah, family and friends. Yep. Shout out to family and friends. 4143 Patterson Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland 21215.
Yes, sir. And you need to go get your hair cut at there. And then if you want to get a master cut, go to Scottie the Barber.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I think I might be able to get a free haircut if I could see Scotty since he's on this program. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you most definitely can.
It's all right, I tell you. Hear that, Queen? Leroy?
It's just trying to just share how I feel and from my perspective and from my point of view to what goes on in the city and how I just feel like they just want to blame us for everything that goes on. They don't want to blame the system. I have yet to see a politician blame the system. And the thing that bothers me the most is these African-American politicians, and they always asking if you see something, say something that just happened, how cowards you. You're a coward, something happens to someone, something happens wrong, something happens bad. But I feel as though a lot of black politicians are cowards because they don't speak upon the same system that they know was put into place to keep us down. No one speaks against it. No one speaks against it. No one speaks against it.
That's right. And the other aspect, and I got to end this program because y'all get me in trouble, is that you want ideas about how to solve stuff and how to make things better, and going to the people to get ideas. But isn't that why I put you in the office? So if you ain't got no ideas, you need to get out. Give me your money. If I got to give you ideas, give me your money. How about that? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we've broke ground. We've solved some issues. We really could be in city government because we got ideas. We know what's happening. All three of us. Yeah, I'll bring my wife along too, so we can actually get good food while in City Hall.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, this has been another Elevation Radio 1 moment. I'm so happy to have Pastor. Give me your name again.
Armstrong.
You said Armstrong?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, bless you. I tell you.
Do you see my phone number? If you see my phone number, give me a call off the air.
Well, don't hang up yet. Let me grab a pen here and do something here. Hold one second.
All right.
Hold 1 second. All right. Let me see.
Okay.
1 second. I'm not as fast as Scotty the Barber. Okay. All right. Said the race is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, but the he that endureth till the end, even me. God bless you.
Yeah.
All right, we thank you. Scotty, keep up the work, sir. You may want to consider running for political office, sir. I'll back you. It's gonna be okay.
I might think about it. I joke about it a lot of times, but I just might think about doing it.
Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, you'll be better than what we got. So
yeah.
On that note, I'm going to be out of here. Tomorrow night we have a special program at 5 p.m. We're going to have Reverend Christina Flowers talking about the plight of the homeless here in the city. We're trying to unlock the frozen hearts of the city before the cold hits the streets.
Okay.
So stay tuned. All right.
All right, y'all. Everyone be blessed and have a good night. All right.
Good night.